You can get a full frame camera that shoots 5.9K raw video and a fast prime lens for as little as £664. That's less than half the price of the Fuji X100 VI, and it's even less than the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II body only, which is a crop sensor camera made of plastic. The camera in question is actually what started me on this whole journey. It was the camera that earned my business way over £100,000 in the 2 years that I was using it, and even to this day I'd argue that the image quality is superior to a lot of the newer cameras on the market. You can output raw video via HDMI without any paid upgrades, meaning that you can shoot 5.9K ProRes RAW full frame at insanely high bit rates for the absolute best image quality. This is a sort of value that you can get with the LUMIX S5, a full frame camera released back in September of 2020. The crazy thing is that the S5 is now going for as little as £534 on the used market, and I think this is one of the best deals that you'll be able to find. For £500, you'd even be lucky to get a mid-range crop sensor camera from the likes of Fuji and Sony, and any camera that does fall in that price point will definitely not be as capable as the LUMIX S5. So I guess the next question would be lenses, and I'm sure there's some of you sitting there wondering what value can be found in the L-mount ecosystem, considering that it's falsely accused of being one of the more expensive ecosystems, despite the fact that it just really isn't. More and more third-party brands are beginning to manufacture L-mount lenses, and as the ballpark continues expanding, the amount of budget lens options will also continue to grow. Recently, I reviewed the Mikey 50mm f1.8, a fast prime lens that only costs £130 new. It has autofocus and is definitely sharp enough for most deliveries. Mikey also have an 85mm f1.4 for £380 and a 35mm f2 for £152. Along with these cheap primes, you could also look at getting the 20-60 kit lens secondhand for around £169, and that will give you a nice versatile zoom range with a nice wide starting point. With the 50mm, you're looking at £664 with a LUMIX S5 all in. With a 35, you're looking at £686 all in, and with the 85, you're looking at £914 all in. So every single option still keeps you below £1,000. If you did have a little bit more money to spend on lenses, then you can always check out some of the second-hand deals on the S primes, for example. Like I think the 50mm f1.8 can now be had for less than £200 used. And you might be able to find some other similar deals like that in the LUMIX lineup as well. The LUMIX S5 also has incredible IBIS, allowing you to shoot stable handheld video and giving you more leverage when shooting stills in low light conditions, as you'll be able to lower the shutter speed considerably and still get sharp results. The ergonomics of the S5 are also fantastic, with a bunch of customizable buttons all over the camera and a flip out LCD for self-filming and low angle shots. The S5 was actually my first ever LUMIX camera, and it really introduced me to the way that Panasonic do things. The menus are super easy to navigate, the button placement makes total sense to me, and the battery life is also very good as well. I was so happy with my S5, and it delivered on every shoot that I used it on. Even to this day, I look at shots I've taken with this camera and I'm still really impressed with the quality. It's not a perfect camera, of course, and there will be some obvious drawbacks. For example, the continuous AF performance when shooting video isn't that reliable, and generally speaking, any subject tracking modes will also give you mixed results. That being said, the AF works great when shooting stills, and I actually learned a lot about manual focusing because of the S5, making me a far better and more intentional videographer. There is a 30-minute recording limit when shooting 4K, and that could be annoying for some people, but I still managed to shoot various projects including interviews and long-form coverage over the 2 years that I was using this camera as my main cam, and it didn't really pose any issues for me. Just press record again at the 30-minute mark and you're good to go. We're talking about a setup that will just get you off the ground here, not something that will compete with the latest tech in this space. Of course, you will get better burst rates, AF performance, EVF resolution and codec options in newer and more expensive bodies, but for sub £1,000, you genuinely won't get any better than the S5. It's a camera that will grant you access to the world of full frame at a fraction of the price. You'll be able to start investing in nicer lenses as time passes, and you'll definitely learn a lot about photo and video using this camera. I've still got so much love for the OG S5, and I actually owe a lot of my success to this stupidly cheap camera body, both for my business and with this YouTube channel. And even though I now have all of the latest Lumix cameras, including the S5 II, the S5 IIX, and the S9, there's still something special about the S5 that will keep me from ever selling it.